Guys, are you ready to have your minds blown? Like, seriously blown? We're about to dive deep, deep, deep into the lives of some of the most iconic figures in history, people you think you know, and uncover the weird, the shocking, the OMG I can't believe that's true facts that they don't teach you in school. I'm talking bizarre habits, strange rituals, and secrets so wild you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew. Trust me, some of this stuff is so out there, so unbelievable you're gonna think I made it up, but I swear it's all true. And stay tuned until the very end, because the most shocking fact of all, the one that made my jaw drop to the floor, is coming up last. Okay, so we're starting off with Albert Einstein, right? Genius, father of modern physics, total hair icon. But did you know he had a dirty little secret, like, literally dirty? The man was obsessed with picking up cigarette butts off the street. I know, it's kinda gross, right? Like, ew, germs. But apparently Einstein wasn't too worried about that because he would use the leftover tobacco from those discarded cigarettes to pack his pipe. Can you imagine like walking down the street and seeing Einstein hunched over digging through a trash can for cigarette butts? It's kinda sad, kinda funny, and honestly, pretty freaking weird. I mean, you'd think a guy with a brain like that could afford his own cigarettes, right? Maybe he was just super frugal, or maybe he liked the taste of like, random strangers' cigarette butts. Who knows? But it definitely makes you wonder what other strange habits he had behind closed doors. Did he talk to his hair? Did he eat soup in the bathtub? The possibilities are endless. But honestly, it just makes you realize that even geniuses are human, right? They have their quirks, their weird habits, their things that make them go in the middle of the night. And hey, maybe that's what makes them so brilliant. Maybe it's all that street tobacco fueling those groundbreaking theories. Whatever the reason, it's a pretty interesting tidbit about one of history's most famous figures. And it just goes to show, you never really know what's going on behind closed doors, even with people like Einstein. Next up, we're traveling back in time to ancient Egypt to talk about the one and only Cleopatra. She was known for her beauty, her intelligence, and her, interesting beauty regimen. Okay, are you ready for this? Cleopatra swore by baths in donkey milk. Yes, you heard me right, donkey milk. Apparently, she believed that bathing in this magical elixir would keep her skin soft, supple, and youthful. And you know what? Maybe she was onto something. Donkey milk is actually said to be rich in vitamins and minerals, and it's been used in skincare for centuries. But still, can you imagine the smell? I mean, I love cheese as much as the next person, but a bathtub full of donkey milk? That's a hard pass for me. I can just picture it now. Cleopatra lounging in a giant marble tub filled to the brim with warm, frothy donkey milk. Maybe she had servants feeding her grapes while she soaked. Or maybe she was reading scrolls and plotting her next political move. Whatever she was doing, it's definitely a visual, right? And it makes you wonder, what other strange beauty secrets did Cleopatra have up her sleeve? Did she use crushed beetle shells as lipstick? Did she put avocado on her face? Again, the possibilities are endless. Alright guys, buckle up because we're about to get weird, like really weird. We're talking about Nicola Tesla, the brilliant inventor, the visionary, the guy who basically invented the 20th century. But behind that genius mind was a man obsessed with pigeons. I'm not talking about a casual, oh, I like to feed the birds in the park kind of obsession. We're talking full-blown, love letter writing, she's my soulmate kind of obsession. Yeah, you heard that right. Tesla was reportedly deeply in love with a specific white pigeon that he would visit every day in the park. He would describe her beauty, her intelligence, her grace in detail, claiming that he loved her as one would love a human being. Now, I'm no expert, but that's a little strange, right? I mean, I love animals too, but I'm not about to write them love letters and declare them my soulmate. Maybe it was the loneliness of genius, maybe it was something more, but Tesla's relationship with this pigeon was definitely unique. Some people speculate that Tesla might have had Asperger's syndrome, a condition that can sometimes manifest as a deep fascination with specific objects or animals. But whatever the reason, it's just another example of the strange and wonderful complexities of the human mind, even the most brilliant ones. Let's fast forward a few centuries and talk about another iconic woman, Queen Elizabeth I. Now, Queen Elizabeth was known for her flawless porcelain skin, a look that was all the rage during the Elizabethan era, but what they didn't tell you in history class is that this flawless complexion came at a deadly cost. You see, to achieve that coveted pale look, Elizabeth used a face powder called Venetian Cirrus, which was basically just a fancy way of saying white lead paint. Yes, you heard that right, lead. The same stuff that's super toxic and can cause all sorts of health problems. But back then, they didn't know any better. Or maybe they just didn't care because having pale skin was all the rage. So, for years, Queen Elizabeth slathered this lead-based makeup on her face day after day, layer after layer. And it's not like she could just wash it off with soap and water at the end of the day. This stuff was like cement, requiring harsh oils and abrasives to remove. It's no wonder that prolonged use of Cirrus led to skin damage, hair loss, and even death in some cases. But hey, at least they looked fabulous, right? It's a stark reminder that beauty standards have always been a little bit crazy, and sometimes downright dangerous. Okay, get ready to be grossed out because this next fact is not for the faint of heart. We all know Charles Darwin, the father of evolution, the man who blew everyone's minds with his theory of natural selection. But did you know he also had a very peculiar eating habit? Darwin, you see, was a member of a very exclusive club at Cambridge University called the Glutton Club. The goal? To eat every animal imaginable. And I mean every animal. We're talking owls, hawks, exotic birds, you name it. Darwin apparently wasn't too keen on the taste of the old brown owl, describing it as indescribable. But he was a man on a mission. Some people might find it a little disturbing, maybe even hypocritical, that the man who revolutionized our understanding of the animal kingdom was also chowing down on his research subjects. But hey, maybe it was all in the name of science, right? Or maybe he was just a really adventurous eater. Whatever the reason, it's a pretty bizarre fact about a man who changed the world with his ideas. Now let's talk about Joan of Arc, the French heroine, the military leader, the woman who claimed to hear voices from saints. That's right, Joan of Arc said she was guided by divine voices, specifically Saint Michael the Archangel, Saint Catherine, and Saint Margaret. These voices, she said, told her to fight for France against the English, and fight she did, leading the French army to several victories. Now, some people believe that Joan of Arc was a true visionary, a woman touched by God. Others, however, believe that she might have suffered from a mental illness, perhaps schizophrenia, which can manifest as auditory hallucinations. Now, I'm not a doctor and I would never want to diagnose someone from the past, but it's an interesting question, isn't it? Was Joan of Arc a saint or was she suffering? Or maybe, just maybe, she was a little bit of both. A woman of incredible faith, driven by her beliefs, whether they were divinely inspired or a product of her own mind. Alright guys, get ready to giggle because this next fact is about to get a little gassy. We're talking about Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the United States, a man of science, a man of letters, and apparently a man who was really interested in farts. Yep, you heard that right. Benjamin Franklin, the guy on the $100 bill, was obsessed with farts. He even wrote an essay called Fart Proudly, a satirical masterpiece that argued for the social acceptability of farting. In the essay, he proposed that scientists should work on developing a potion that would make farts smell pleasant, like perfumes. He even suggested that the government should fund this research. I mean, you gotta admire his dedication to the cause, right? But it just goes to show that even the most brilliant minds have their quirks. And hey, maybe he was onto something. Imagine a world where farts smelled like roses. It would certainly make those long car rides a lot more pleasant. Okay, this next one is a little bit morbid, but I promise it's fascinating. We all know Leonardo da Vinci as a genius, a painter, an inventor, a true Renaissance man. But did you know that he was also a bit of a mortician? Okay, maybe not a full-blown mortician, but he was obsessed with human anatomy, and he would dissect corpses to learn more about how the human body worked. He even wrote detailed reports about his findings, complete with sketches and diagrams that are both beautiful and a little bit creepy. I mean, can you imagine chilling in a dimly lit room with Da Vinci while he dissects a corpse? Not exactly a relaxing way to spend an evening, but his fascination with anatomy is part of what made him such a brilliant artist. He understood the human body inside and out, which allowed him to paint and sculpt it with incredible accuracy and realism. Let's journey back in time to the Mongolian Empire to talk about Genghis Khan, the fearsome warrior, the brilliant strategist, the man who created the largest contiguous land empire in history. But despite his legendary status, the location of Genghis Khan's tomb remains one of history's greatest mysteries. And there's a theory that explains why it's underwater. Legend has it that when Genghis Khan died, his loyal followers diverted a river to flow over his burial site, erasing any trace of the tomb and ensuring that his final resting place would remain a secret forever. The idea of a powerful ruler's tomb hidden beneath a river is like something out of an Indiana Jones movie, and it makes you wonder, if this theory is true, what treasures might be hidden down there. Imagine the artifacts, the weapons, the historical significance. It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? Alright guys, we've reached the final chapter of our bizarre history adventure, and we're ending with a splash. This last fact is about Ludwig van Beethoven, the musical genius, the master of symphonies, the man who composed some of the most beautiful music ever written. But here's the thing, Beethoven had a very unique composing process. He liked to write his music in the bathtub. Yep, you heard that right. Beethoven would apparently fill his tub to the brim with water, strip down naked, and just sit there, composing masterpieces while soaking in his own filth. I don't know about you, but I can barely remember what I had for breakfast, let alone compose a symphony while sitting in a bathtub. But hey, whatever works, right? Maybe the sound of the water splashing gave him inspiration, or maybe he just really liked being naked in the bathtub. Either way, it's a pretty hilarious and bizarre image to have in your head. Beethoven, soaking wet, hair a mess, scribbling down notes on sheet music while humming to himself. It definitely makes you appreciate the strange ways in which creative genius can strike. Wow guys, we've just uncovered some seriously weird and wild facts about some of history's most iconic figures. From Einstein's cigarette butt addiction to Beethoven's bathtub composing sessions, these stories prove that truth is often stranger than fiction. I mean, who would have thought that Cleopatra bathed in donkey milk or that Benjamin Franklin was a fart enthusiast? History is full of surprises. So, which fact did you find the most shocking? Let me know in the comments below. I'm dying to know which one made your jaw drop the furthest. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more mind-blowing content. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future historical deep dives. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and most importantly, stay weird.